Thanks everyone for joining us today for our webinar. My name is Victoria and I'm part of the customer success team here at PunchPass. And today our webinar is focused on what to look forward to and what we can do in 2022. Really looking into some fitness trends to help drive some business to your studios and some hopefully kind of brainstorm some ideas, come up with some ways to maybe highlight new offerings or bring new people into your space. And we're really going to focus on some trends that have been tracked in the industry and what we can do to kind of jump on top of those. So we're going to go ahead and get started by looking back a little bit. I think that it's really helpful to kind of see what trends might have been sort of happening in 2021 and kind of give us a little idea of the mindset of maybe where our clients or potential clients may be at to kind of help get us comfortable, kind of looking forward as well. And so we're pulling a lot of this information here from Google Trends. Google captures a lot of data worldwide in terms of search history and what people are looking at and looking up. And each year they sort of do a rundown, and we notice some trends that might not be directly tied to our industry, but are related and relevant here. So we kind of wanted to focus on that to get in the mindset of clients and potential clients. So something that was a big trend here in 2021 was the search for how to maintain mental health. This has been a driving trend here with Google, and something that might not have been seen before in search history, but has really gained a lot of interest in the past year. Another popular search was coming to how to heal. And, I think a lot of these things can be tied together: mental health, physical health, kind of where people are feeling and what they're looking to do with their lives, looking at how to heal, how to feel better. How to cure burnout was a breakout search, specifically in the US. But this means that it was, been, a really big popular search item for people, again, especially in the US, but I think we'd probably see that globally as well. But people might be feeling a little tired of the routine, looking for something new, kind of a way to sort of get out of the rut they might be feeling that they're in. And I think tied to that, we also saw searches for affirmations reached an all-time high worldwide in 2021. So people looking for positive motivation, mantras and ways to, reset the way that they're thinking and feeling. And I think that can really help us kind of as we move forward and think about ways we can make adjustments or some tweaks to what we're currently offering. It's a good idea to kind of get in the mindset of who our client is and where they might be right now. And so if we're looking at who's our client or potential client, might be experiencing some burnout, might be looking for connection, something, a community and an experience and a conversation to have with new people or with people in general. So it's good to start thinking about like what people might be looking for and how we might be able to appeal to them with our offerings, with our classes, with what our studio community can bring to our clients. So, one thing we can take from this and the Google Trends from 2021 and thinking about who our client might be is really thinking about the fitness and mental health connection. From the National Institute of Health, they've, certainly there's been a lot of research done and a lot of conversation around how exercise can really improve mental health. It helps reduce anxiety, depression, negative moods, and really helps build some self-esteem and brain functionality, really helping with, some low self-esteem issues or social withdrawal, which some people might be experiencing as a result of the pandemic. So we know that mental health and physical health are tied together. So how can we, adjust, maybe bring that into our studios and into our offerings? Meditation, offering a meditation practice, or adding meditation to some existing practices, especially if for yoga studios, this could fit in really nicely with your current offerings. That could be a way to kind of appeal to people who are looking for that connection, looking for that improvement and again, affirmation about how they're feeling and the connection. When it comes to affirmations, this could apply to anyone, looking up affirmations and mantras, things to say in class could be really helpful for instructors to, bring some new element to what they already say to their clients during class. Things that you can express to your clients and talk about in a positive way and in a really like self-reflective way could be something pretty simple that you could add to your existing classes. And you can also think about working with experts. So, we're not expecting everyone to be a therapist. And certainly if you're running a fitness studio, that's probably not what you do. Or maybe you're not a meditation expert, but you're interested in that. You're interested in mindfulness and people seem interested in that. So you have the opportunity to work with other people, especially with how connected we can be through online classes. Maybe it's something to think about, connecting with people online who might be offering this kind of opportunity, and you have the ability to offer a workshop or a series or an event, whether that's online again or at your studio, where you can pull from experts and you can get their expertise and bring them into your studio, your studio's online space to, again, maybe appeal to some people who are feeling, a little burnt out, a little, maybe not super happy with how everything's going, and they're looking for a change and looking for something different to help. And this is something that we can do as studio owners, looking into ways to work with others and bring that aspect into our offerings. Now, another aspect here is to think about non-fitness group connection options. So, while we might be used to offering a lot of, online fitness class, in-person fitness classes, especially if we have an in-person space, there are probably some times and some space in your schedule where you don't have classes happening, you don't have events going on at the studio. And maybe this is an opportunity to look into some non-fitness connections or opportunities that you could be hosting or exploring at your studio and still, kind of using to build something without necessarily being tied to fitness. So if you have a studio space or even online, you could bring out or bring up the idea of offering a book club, a way to connect with people, talk with people around a specific topic because you're reading a book together. So that could be a way to get people into the studio or into your space, into just getting comfortable, meeting new people, talking about things. And, you could also look into something, especially if you're a female in studio, you have female instructors, could look at offering a women's circle, just a safe place for people to talk who are female identifying and, can kind of add that level of community to your studio space. Again, if you own a space, if you have a space and there's times where you're not offering classes, could be an opportunity to host an event, a social event, a mixer, something where people can, again, get together, meet new people. Maybe it's, a gathering for certain age groups or new people who have just moved to the area. You can kind of use your space and explore ways to use your space, again, as a way to increase the community in your community. Could also be an opportunity to work with organizations and bring organizations in to use your space if they don't have a space of their own. This could be an opportunity for community organizing. Could also be an opportunity to organize and maybe even host some charitable events for fundraisers. So there's other ways that we can explore using the studio space and, book the time on the schedule, have it available, and make it easy for people to sign up and book that time in your space. So, there's some fitness areas here, there's some non-fitness areas here. But again, if you have the opportunity to host groups and work with groups, there's other offerings outside, maybe your usual, again, you might be thinking a little outside the box here, but outside of your usual offerings that could garner some interest in your space. And ideally, if people are visiting your space and feel comfortable in certain ways, they might also see on your schedule, they'll follow your social media accounts, the opportunity for there to be overlap, from, meeting, once at a mixer to saying like, hey, we should check out that class they're having, or that they're doing this mindfulness workshop, we should go together. It's just an opportunity to, again, build that and hopefully build more interest in the other things that you offer. So that's kind of a focus on, the mental health aspect and mindfulness aspect, as well as, ways we can help build community. Again, thinking a lot about how things were going in 2021 and maybe how they might be continuing now. But let's really look forward into 2022, especially as we look into the fitness trends in our industry and what we can kind of expect. Again, it's a forecast, so we're not 100% sure. Weatherman's not 100% accurate all of the time, but we can listen to industry experts, get their information, and hopefully use it to maybe hop on a trend here or there, and again, build some interest in our offerings. So a lot of this information is coming from the American College of Sports Medicine, and this is a fitness worldwide survey that they complete each year, and they pull some interesting information. I think it's really helpful to just get a feel for what kind of the feedback was and what some of the experts are expecting for 2022. So we are going to later get into the top 5 trends and how we can work with them. But thought it was interesting that the new #1 trend was #2 last year, but it is wearable technology. So Fitbits or your Samsung Galaxy Watch and Apple Watch. These are tools that people are using not just to tell time or receive their text messages, but also to track fitness and to track some health and fitness information. So that seems to be a really popular trend in the industry. It was last year, should be this year as well. Interesting, the #1 trend for 2021 was online training. That has dropped a bit for 2022 in terms of expectations. There are some other things coming up. We know that there are a lot of places where you are able to have in-person classes. So online training might not be the #1 trend moving forward, but it's still up there and part of the conversation. Thought it was very interesting that home exercise gyms have appeared, in the list for the first time, and that's right at #2. So a lot of people, maybe they're not thinking about online training, but they're thinking about, oh, I can do this at home. And maybe we will be able to meld the two and kind of appeal to the people who are setting up space in their homes where they feel comfortable being able to exercise in, the safety of their own space. Now, we did see that group training, so more than 5 people attending, was popular previously, definitely kind of dropped a bit as a result of the COVID-19 pandemic, and it's dropped a little bit again. I don't think this is a major cause for alarm. It's still very high in the conversation, but I think this is a thing to keep in mind. If your classes are going really well and things are good, hey, maybe you're just kind of looking at a little extra things to do. But if you're feeling like you're struggling getting people into the studio, you're struggling to fill up some classes, then it might make sense to look at some of these trends a little bit more seriously and think about how we can make adjustments. So speaking of that, again, in-studio classes, still very relevant part of the conversation. It's an important part of our industry. It's still a huge part of our industry, but we are seeing some trends that might be, kind of coming in and becoming a little, it's a trend. It's a little popular right now. It might not be here to stay. Certainly in-studio group fitness classes have been around for a while. We don't think they're going anywhere, but, in terms of what's hot and happening in the industry, we have some other things kind of coming in. So this is where we can start brainstorming and thinking about how we can add to our classes, how we can look at our schedule and say, okay, well, what could we jump in here? What could we fit in here? And really, kind of add some, maybe more hip opportunities that seem popular. Could be a small change. This doesn't have to be completely dropping your current schedule. It's just thinking, what's a little thing we could add here that might be, hey, maybe it's a little trendy, but a couple people check it out and they like it, and then they look at what else we offer. And that's what we're ideally doing with some of these opportunities. And then I think something to always keep in mind is, how do we add purpose to our classes? What is your why? Why are we coming to this class? What is the purpose of coming to this class, and what are we getting out of it? There's a lot of potential answers to that question. So we'll keep thinking about it, keep it in the back of your mind as we keep talking, because I think that it's always good to have in mind. We're not, doing it for nothing. Obviously we're doing it for our business, but why are our clients coming, and what are they getting out of this? So it's something to continue to think about as we look into some of the new trends popping up. So our top 5 for 2022, again, expectations might change a little bit as we move forward, but number 1 is, as I mentioned, wearable technology. So a lot of these, devices that track heart rate, body temperature, their step counters. They can track calories burned, and they can be set specifically for fitness activities. So definitely something that's very popular, very trendy. We've been seeing it over the past years. I'm sure some of you might even own some yourself. And it's something to think about. We'll talk about how we could maybe work with that into our classes and our offerings. So number 2, again, home exercise gyms has become a popular interest of people in the fitness world. And I think, again, due to the pandemic, a lot of people are looking for something they can do from home. A lot of people are working from home. So having the convenience of, I can wake up super early, get my workout done, shower, run to the computer, make breakfast, whatever I've got to do, but it's a little bit more convenient than having, than getting to take the travel out of that time. So home exercise gyms, again, something we'll look into. Number 3 was outdoor activities. So this is something that we at Punch Pass talked a lot about in the, around seasonal times when the weather's nice and people are looking for, gatherings in a way that makes them feel comfortable and safe, where they feel like they can socially distance. But we're seeing that again in 2022. People are looking for outdoor activities in the fitness space. So this is a great opportunity to think about what we can offer our clients, and when it comes to outdoors, when it's available in your area. Number 4 was strength training with free weights. So this can be, again, we'll be kind of focusing on the in-studio aspect of this kind of activity. Again, this might not be for everyone, but it is a trend, so we wanted to touch on it. And then also trending at number 5 comes in our exercise for weight loss. So something that's been in the industry for quite some time, but again, we're seeing maybe a trend to that as people are, again, kind of dealing with, maybe some mental health issues, and maybe that's resulted in some weight gain and something that they're thinking about now, and thinking about how they can adjust for that or change some things in their lifestyle for that. So some of these should be pretty familiar to you. Maybe some of them are a little like, I don't know how I can make that work for me. So let's dive in. Let's talk about it. So wearable technology, a lot of the things that these tools are tracking are steps. It's a big one. A lot of people are trying to hit their steps or close their circles or fill in their heart for the day. The classic starter amount is 10,000 steps a day, which if you've tried to do, might be a little harder than you think, but if you're in the fitness industry, it could be a little easier. So definitely something we can get into. Standing, the amount of time that someone is standing in their day is also a goal with these watches and technology. Tracking the heart rate and monitoring that information is great. And there's also a really cool feature to these devices where you can select the activity that you're going to be doing and say, hey, I'm about to go on a walk, or I'm about to take a Zumba class. And then, it'll take that into account. So when it's tracking your activity during that time, it's going to make certain adjustments based on the particular activity they're doing. So, all of this is around fitness. All of this is tied to fitness and health. And, it's great that these tools are available. But what I think we can bring, as instructors or studio owners, is a way to incorporate that technology into in-person or online connection. So I think it's really great to have personal accountability and group accountability combined with the technology. So, I think it's pretty easy sometimes, when you get that notification, hey, you should stand up, or you only have these many more steps to get today. It's kind of easy to be like, yeah, all right, I will, maybe I'll get to it. Or if they get the notification on their phone, they pull out their phone and swipe on the notification and be like, oh, maybe I'll scroll through Instagram today. So by incorporating an online class or an in-person class with the technology, kind of identifying goals that are tied to those wearable devices, having people also involved in that and not just the technology could also really help some people out. I've certainly ignored my watch on occasion. So one thing you could think about or look into is something like mini workouts throughout the day. So in terms of, when you're looking at, what those wearable technologies goals are, it's often like, hey, after a certain amount of time, you should stand up, you should walk around, you should get a little activity in. And it's not, the goals aren't usually for them to, work out for an hour. It's to, have some consistent movement throughout their day. So one thing you could look into is like a quick 15-minute class, maybe 3 times a day, and have it really tailored to like, let's get your steps, let's hit that heart rate goal, let's meet your standing circle, and kind of focus on that. And it's great if you do these online, because then you can just say, hey, it's a pretty easy additional thing to add to your schedule, and you might not charge the same that you would for a 75-minute Pilates class, but it could be a way to get some new people interested. And again, it's a trend, it's happening. People might be searching for this kind of thing. So getting it out there and kind of bringing people into that could be an option. And then there's also the opportunity to do like a group challenge. So if people are really going after their steps, it could be something where you say, hey, like we're all going to get involved, and if you want to participate, you can track your steps over this amount of time. We'll have special classes, we'll do online mini workouts, or we'll have group walks scheduled. And maybe the challenge winner, whoever hits the most steps over that set of time, maybe they win some swag, maybe they win some free classes at your studio. So again, continuing that cycle, but getting people interested as a result of some technology that's trending right now. So these are some ideas. Definitely feel free if you have some other thoughts or ideas and you want to throw them in the chat, go for it. We'll be taking questions at the end, but if you have some other ideas and you want to share with other Punch Pass users and people who are checking out the webinar, it'd be great. So when it comes to home gyms, sometimes people get a little freaked out, especially in our industry, because we're worried about people just maybe not needing them anymore. And the reality is that, it's one thing to get the equipment and the setup, and you have a mirror, you have a mat, you have some free weights, you're feeling good about it. Maybe you have a stationary bike, but a lot of the motivation often comes externally. Again, similar to the group accountability, having an instructor who's expecting you or usually sees you around a certain time is one way to help people actually feel like they're getting their money's worth for spending the money on setting up their home gym and feeling like they're actually doing the work. And this is where online classes can really be a big help. And a lot of people moved to online classes when things were shut down or whenever things shut down. But online classes can help reach a different target demographic that isn't comfortable coming to classes, or just doesn't have the time. They're super busy. They work from home. They want to get the use out of their home gym, but maybe they're not quite putting in the effort. So I did want to show how to set up online classes in Punch Pass. It's really quick. It's really easy. I wanted to highlight this in case you've missed it. So some of our Punch Pass users might be very familiar with this, but I want to walk through it just so that you get a feel for how you can do this in Punch Pass.
To set up with PunchPass and our Zoom integration, we'll go to Manage Settings and scroll down to Integrations. Here we'll see the option to connect directly to Zoom. We'll go ahead and log into our Zoom account here. And I will authorize that. And now you'll see I'm connected to Zoom. And now if I go into Manage Classes, I can click on a class and manage my schedule. And right now my class is set to in person, but I'll hit edit. And I have the option here to turn it into an online class. When I toggle this on, Zoom meetings are automatically going to get created for this class time. I will save that status. And if I go into my schedule, we'll see that this class time is now set to be online. If I click on the class, I will see that the Zoom meeting has been created because this class is within 14 days. And when I get closer to the class time, about 30 minutes prior to the class, I'll see an option to start the Zoom meeting right from within PunchPass. So your instructors will be able to do that as well. Now, for your customers, as they book and as they get reminded about the class, they'll receive the Zoom link. They'll receive the Zoom link in an email 30 minutes prior to the class, and they can also log into their account and click on their reservations to access the Zoom link.
So our online classes is something where, we'd really, target some of these people who have got set up with their home gym, and they might want to have a little bit more extra motivation to actually get in there and use it. And that can be part of, your marketing for your online classes. It doesn't just have to be, COVID related. It can be, hey, you have a mat at home, you have things at home, you don't want to commute anywhere. Let's talk about, having some accountability, have an instructor walk you through what you need to do at home. And it doesn't have to require a ton of equipment, even just a mat and some weights, or, some specific things that you can recommend, band workouts. Could be something that you could, kind of focus those offerings when you're going online for those clients. Just keep going here. So I loved that the third popular trend looking forward to 2022 is outdoor classes, because I think this is just a fantastic way to, kind of recalibrate and rethink about your group fitness classes. I think a lot of people are really comfortable with the idea of being outdoors. Outdoor dining has been very popular. Outdoor fitness is another opportunity to kind of, make people feel really comfortable coming to those classes. And then they're also a really great way for people to, out in the community, to see you running classes, to meet your instructors, potentially to, maybe drop in on a class. So, the first thing is getting the space and the location to do it. And if you're lucky enough to have the property to be able to run outdoor classes on your own space, that's fantastic. But if you're looking to use, a park, a playground, a school field, tennis court, something, again, your local parks department might be managing, it would be great to make sure that you get permission to use that, for your outdoor classes. So always good to make sure you have permission to figure out, how you're going to be able to offer these. But the nice thing with, again, with your outdoor classes and things to keep in mind is that people will probably be looking to do a little social distancing. Outdoors makes that a lot easier for you to do that, and maybe even have more people attend your classes. If your studio space is somewhat limited and people are trying to continue to distance indoors, you might have some harder limits that you don't need to worry about so much when you're looking at outdoor classes. So definitely an opportunity to think about. And this is a great opportunity for you to market yourself and be out in the community. So if you're at a local park or near a local walkway, hiking route, wherever you may be, I definitely recommend getting some signs made up so that you can have your business information on there, contact information. You could add a QR code so people can scan it and maybe go right to your Punch Pass schedule so they can see exactly what you're offering and when you have classes, when the outdoor classes are set up, so that, if people see you, they're clearly you're a business, right? You're not just a group of friends working out together. This is a class, it's organized. They'll see that because you have the sign, they can look up your information, and then maybe they'll join you. So it's kind of a nice added bonus with the outdoor classes. Also important to keep in mind, you're going to have to adapt some of your workouts for the outdoor classes. So if normally you deal with machines or a lot of props, you might be looking at more like mat-based and body weight workout and exercises, because that's what you might have available, or is going to be a little bit easier to manage in an outdoor space. But think about that, adapting your workouts and making them work for the outdoors when you have the right weather for it. And speaking of weather, always good to make some plans if you're hosting some outdoor classes as to what we do when it rains or we get any kind of weather that's going to put a damper on the class. So make sure that there's, you've communicated that you have backup plans, or when things will get canceled or maybe moved. If you're going to, need to cancel, maybe you want to think about moving it to be online. Maybe you'll get a little less people, maybe people will just say, oh, it's raining, I'm not going to do it. But it might be another opportunity to still get people in the class by moving it to online if you can't conduct it outdoors. So outdoor classes, again, seemingly going to be still popular moving forward. So something to think about, especially, we're all in different parts of the world, but I know I'm here in the US and still winter, but we'll definitely be looking at outdoor opportunities for classes in the spring and summer. So strength training and free weights is, again, our number 4 trend that we have here. And so some of the things that might include are barbells, kettlebells, dumbbells, and medicine balls. And the thing to kind of think about and consider, if this is going to be part of what you're offering, or something that you're considering adding, this might not work for everyone. Again, depending on your studio and depending on the people that you have as instructors, this might not be something you can do. But if it is something you're adding to your schedule or looking to do, one of the things that we've seen a lot of recommendations for is really highlighting the benefit of working with an expert. So really focusing on the expertise that instructors can bring to these kinds of workouts, because the goal with these workouts is, to start with a smaller weight and build the good form and make sure that you're doing the exercises correctly, and then you can increase the weight or intensity. And without good form, it can definitely lead to some injuries and not really getting the right thing out of the workout. So this is where we would really emphasize on your experts teaching them how to do these exercises correctly and safely. And something that, if you are, again, going to be offering these things, highlighting your instructors who have that information, and making that the focus of any kind of, again, marketing or conversation around these kinds of classes. And then the last trend we're going to focus on is exercise for weight loss. So, as a result of some, real or perceived weight gain, in the past couple of years, people might be feeling kind of a purpose in going to a fitness class or joining a fitness exercise, because they're feeling like, I need to make a change in my lifestyle. And, this is an opportunity where you absolutely can promote healthy diet and exercise practices in your studio and with your offerings. So it's something to definitely consider. Again, it seems to be trending up this year. Something that you might not have considered if you're using our content library, and you might be using it for video replays, we also have the opportunity to use it for PDFs, for files. And this could be used for meal plans or workout plans. So it's a great way to, if you're going to be looking at offering specific classes or courses on, promoting diet and exercise, PDFs is a great way to add some value to your course by not just scheduling these classes and you're coming to meet with people maybe, but also we're going to give you resources and documents that you will have that you can use at your disposal. And that's something that you can really use the content library for. And one thing I just wanted to make sure people kept in mind is, if you're focusing on exercise for weight loss or the conversation about weight loss, make sure it's that conversation is around specifically the classes and the offerings that are targeted to that activity. So if you have just a regular Zumba class that's not really focused on this, probably doesn't make sense to bring up during the class constantly about weight loss. It's probably best to keep that conversation again around the offering specifically tied to that. We kind of hosted a webinar sort of around that topic a little bit, and just kind of talking about making fitness super inclusive. So if you want to check out that webinar, I definitely recommend it. But again, this is trending. This seems to be popular. Definitely an opportunity to kind of create challenges or kind of a group event to kind of focus on the exercise for weight loss. So we've had a couple things to kind of go over here. We've talked a lot about 2021 and probably moving forward, the connection between mental health and physical health and fitness, and also maybe beyond fitness, some other offerings you can explore beyond the fitness world that might make sense for your studio space. We've also talked through ways that we can incorporate some trends into your studio offerings. Again, maybe not, completely rehabbing your whole system, your whole schedule, but maybe adding just a mini workout a couple times a week and giving people the opportunity to explore that. Again, ways to appeal to new clients who might be experiencing different things. They might be a different type of person than that you haven't really been marketing towards previously. But now that we have a feel for some of the mindset here, we might want to think about the way that we're marketing and talking about our offerings. Ways to build accountability and community in your classes. Again, that can be online, that can be in person, that could be outside fitness, that could be specifically tied to fitness. And taking advantage of lots of different kinds of opportunities that you have available to you. Again, looking at trends, looking beyond them as well, and what we can do moving forward. Now, I mentioned purpose in the beginning and thinking about what people's goals might be and why they might be coming to classes and working with you. And, this is something that we can give you a little bit more information on, by focusing on something like a lifestyle program. This could be tied to the exercise for weight loss, but it could also be, really thinking about a reset in someone's life and building something new. Again, changing some of their maybe routines that are starting to feel negative or just neutral and moving into a positive direction. So we have a blog post about this. Going to send you the link in the chat, and we'll also send it along with the recording. You can also see that link here. Again, I will throw that in the chat. So that people can check that out. And now, for all stuck with me this time, we really appreciate it. And we'll head into questions. So if you have any questions, you can put them in the chat. Reach out to us, let us know if you have any thoughts about this or suggestions, maybe some things you've worked on. But we'd love to hear from you if you have any thoughts about what we've talked about so far today. I'll just give you a minute or two to kind of let me know if you have any questions, and then hopefully we can get you some answers. Well, I don't mind if there's no questions. Maybe I've just been very thorough, and that's fantastic. But if you do have anything and want to throw it in there, happy to answer for you. But if not, you can always, if something comes up later, or you have any questions about PunchPass specific things, anything that you might be looking to learn a little bit more about, you can always reach out to us. Our support team is here for you. Our chat is on our team. Oh, great. Oh, no, we do have some questions. Fantastic. All right. So this is a great question, kind of mentioning that they have a different type of demographic for students. They're not really on social media. So how could you do some marketing and acquire more clients? So one thing I really recommend is we did a webinar on marketing locally. So specifically like marketing in person and marketing to certain people in ways that you can kind of increase your presence in the community that isn't really tied to the digital online world as much. So I would definitely recommend that. We've got some, kind of cool ideas. One of the things I will just, kind of, I'll give away a little bit is really about, working with organizations in your community. It's amazing how many, how much reach different groups will have. You have your collection of people and you feel like you've met everybody who's in that world, but if you reach out to your chamber of commerce, or you kind of get some flyers out in local businesses, again, it depends on where you are, depends on what you're looking for, but you might be able to find some organizations in your community that appeal to the same demographic. So, if you're working with, elderly, students, and that's kind of, your focus on fitness for the elderly, then that might be something where you'd look into organizations that have a similar demographic in your area, again, especially locally, and getting in touch with either, some organizations in that area, maybe some government, small government, local government officials in your area. Great opportunity. And then some good, another question was good suggestions to start building a community online. And that's a great question. So for an online community, one of the first things, that we kind of encouraged a lot when we started offering online classes is scheduling, a little bit of buffer time, either, ideally in the before the class, so that when people jump in and jump online, give them a little time to just talk and do gallery view in Zoom and just have people kind of get to interact. And maybe you ask a silly question at the beginning of class, a little icebreaker. And, the sillier, the better. I think that's always a good one when you're thinking about like kind of encouraging conversation. So that's a great way to just do it like within your classes. But what we've seen a lot of people do is build their own, kind of community message board. So popular ones, obviously, Facebook groups that you can make private, so you can send people invitations to join is one way to do that. Another tool that's becoming increasingly popular is Discord, and building your own Discord server is another place where you can kind of manage the invitations and manage conversations and chats, but you can also kind of let people run with it and build their own community in that way. So those are two that I'm pretty familiar with, and I see people using quite a bit to build that online community, because it can be kind of challenging when people want that connection, but they're depending on whether locked down, they have some medical issues, or they're just not ready to do in person, or it's not safe for them to be in person. Building that online community and kind of getting a discussion going, a group going. Again, I mentioned Facebook and Discord. I'm sure there are a lot of other tools out there to kind of have like a message forum going. But that's a great opportunity and a great way to, again, think about how you can tie your studio to an online community and build up that reputation for being a place where people can come, hang out, talk, chat, and also maybe work out or whatever you're currently offering them. All right. Well, if you do have any questions, you can always email us, support@punchpass.com, or our chat is in the bottom right-hand corner when you log into PunchPass or from any of our public PunchPass pages. So if you do have any questions, maybe you're checking out this recording and you have questions that have come up, please reach out to us. We're always happy to talk. And also, if you have any suggestions for other topics you'd love to see us cover in our webinar series, we do these monthly, and we'd love to hear from our attendees as to what you'd like to hear and learn more about. So just let us know. And, I just want to thank everyone for coming here today and or checking out our recording later. Are so happy to get to share our information and share, collect some information for you and help you brainstorm on ideas. So thank you so much, everyone. Hope you're all doing well, and we'll see you again soon.